Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Let me put the volume up. Hopefully you can hear me. There we go. Lovely. Right. Okay. So it's Friday. The weekend is approaching. Today I'm going to be doing a live, which is a part two from the 20 years of experience I've had, what I've learned in the past 20 years. Last week I did a live regarding nutrition. Part one was about nutrition. So all the different things I've gone through in the last 20 years, from a vegan diet all the way to carnivore diet. Spoke about autoimmune, about diabetes, and give some tips on that. Today is all about exercise. Now, we do know that diet alone won't cut it. Just like exercise alone won't cut it. The only way to get results, both for health and meow. Oh, okay. So, got a warning from Facebook, it's cutting me out. So hopefully it hasn't cut me out. You can still see me. To maximize the result, to get a result, I should say, you have to get the right diet for you and the right exercise for you. Now, this is something that very often people don't understand. Yeah. So there's two different things. So one is activity and one is exercise. Now, activity, the government guidelines for activity are 30 minutes of activity every day. Now, activity is, anything, that you walk in, you can go, gentle yoga, Pilates, that, those are gentle activity, recovery, what we call recovery, active recovery. Exercise is different. Now, exercise is when you increase your heart rate. So there's a more cardiovascular effect. So let's say when you go on a bike, or even if you power walk, maybe power walking uphill as opposed to leisurely walking the dog out. Leisurely walking your dog out, that's activity. Power walking is more exercise. So you want to get your heart rate to the point where you are struggling to talk while you're doing the exercise. Now, that is the important thing. You need to do that at least for 30 minutes a day. At least, yeah, ideally longer than that, just to maintain health. That's got nothing to do with losing weight, anything, just to maintain health. Yeah, because the body's built to move. Unfortunately, these days we don't move. We tend to sit down for the majority of the time, whether it is in an office, at work, whether when we come home, we sit down in front of a telly, we sit down to eat. We're sitting down all the time. So we need to stay active. The heart is a muscle. Yeah, so just like every muscle in your body, it needs to be exercised to stay strong. Otherwise, it weakens, like the rest of your muscle, in your body. So that's the difference between activity and exercise. Exercise, you want to get your heart rate to a point where you're struggling to talk while you're moving, when you're doing exercise. Activity could be you're leisurely walking your dog, just go for a leisurely walk, a bit of yoga, the gentle type of yoga, because of course we know there's different type of yoga. Some of them are a bit more intense, a gentle swimming session, those are just activity. They're nothing strenuous, yeah, and those should be done all the time, yeah. So that's the difference between activity and exercise. Now, what the government recommends, it says 30 minutes a day. That's just to stay healthy. But what the government does not mention is the importance of resistance training. So while you do activity, cardiovascular activity that gets your heart rate up, it's good for your heart because the heart is a muscle. You also got other muscles in your body that needs to be moved. And they go by the same principle that if you don't use them, you lose them. So from the age of 40, we start losing on average 4% of our muscle mass a year. Yeah. So activity as a bare minimum, it will be there to try to, undo that muscle loss. Yeah. And that's the reason why a lot of elderly people tend to be frail. So when they fall down, they break something very quickly. Why do they break something? Because they've lost a lot of muscle mass because they've been doing resistance training. And with muscle mass also goes bone density. Yeah, so your bones become brittle, and a little hit on a leg or on a hip becomes a major break. While you're younger, that is not a problem. So while you do resistance training, you also improve your bone density. And yes, elderly people should be doing resistance training. I'm not talking to go to the gym and lift 100, squat 100 kilos on your back. It's just gentler in resistance training, but nonetheless should be doing it. And you should really be doing resistance training bare minimum twice a week. That's in addition to your cardiovascular training, where you raise your heart rate 30 minutes a day. Yeah. And that's just purely to stay healthy. I said that it's got nothing to do with losing weight, toning up. If you want to do that, then you need to go a little bit harder than that. Yeah. So as a personal trainer, I understand exactly how the body works. That's part of what I study for. But I've got to say that what I've learned from experimenting on myself, and results I got with clients, far outweighs anything I ever learned as a personal trainer from the book. And as we know, fitness as well as health is one of those industries that is changing all the time. What you were told to do 10 years ago, both on diet and exercise, is slightly different from what we've been told today. And that's because our lifestyle is changing. The challenges we have are changing, and therefore we need to change the way we are. And the human body changes all the time. Is of course, when you're nice and young, you bounce back from illness, you bounce back from injury. As you get older, it's bouncing can become a problem in the first place. So exercise you were able to do before without problem become an issue. You get injured more frequently, and when you get injured, it takes longer to recover from the injury. So it's about adjusting your exercise in line with your goals. So what do you want to achieve? Is it a question you want to get healthy because you're unhealthy? Do you want to lose weight? Do you have a special event you're planning for? It could be not necessarily just a wedding, it could be a triathlon, you're an athlete. So your goal will determine how you go about your exercise. Your ability will determine how you adjust your exercise. So are you a seasoned exerciser, so you're intermediate to advanced, you've been exercising for many years, or are you a total beginner? So that will make a change. But also your ability in respect of your mobility, so if you're restricting certain movement, that will determine, how you exercise. You have to do some adaptations, some changes. Your weaknesses, for example, I'm very quad dominant. So that means that the front of my leg, the quads, are the strongest part. So I struggle to do anything that involves my glutes, my butt cheeks, in layman terms, and my hamstring, which is the back of a leg. So whenever I involve those ones, I get sore for a lot longer, and I can lift less compared to what I can lift with my quads. So as a result, I have to train my weaknesses more than my strength. It still means I have to train my strength as well, but I have to train my weaknesses more to rebalance the body. So those are things you have to adjust. And of course, you also have to adjust your exercise to your diet, because what you eat is the energy you get out. It's as simple as that. You eat crap, you get crap out. Eat good food, wholesome food, then you get good energy out. And again, it depends on what you're doing. So if you're doing a very intense cardio session, what would you eat before that? What would you eat after that? So it makes changes. So exercise, as I said, the guidelines from the government is 30 minutes every day. And to that, I would add, just for health, at least 2 resistance training sessions a week. They can be done with, don't have to have weights necessarily, don't have to go to the gym, you can do them at home, and a good resistance band will give you some, some good workouts. And there's a lot of YouTube videos out there you can look at if you need help from a professional, as a personal trainer, somebody like myself, and, you can get help that way. So, but that's the minimum requirement, Now, in my experience, I've tried everything. I mean, I've been exercising, I've been going to the gym since I was 17. So of course, when I was younger, it would be weekend, what we call the weekend warriors in the industry. The people who only go the weekend. And then as I moved through the various industry, the various job, and I started doing personal training, then I was able to go every day. Because obviously when you work in an office 9 to 5, you can't just drop everything and go to the gym, although you could go lunchtime if you want to go in the evening. But, the reality of that is that you won't go every day, So I tried everything. I tried from what they call the bros splits in bodybuilding, which is, you could do, you train every single day, and you would do one day, you might do chest and tricep. The other one, you could do back and bicep. You do one leg day, one shoulder, shoulder and calves, you alternate. So you train every single day, but every day you train a different muscle group. So you don't overtrain. I tried that one. I've gone heavy, I've gone light in respect of weights. I've done cardio with that. I've done power training. I've done hit strength training. I've done everything, And I've got some result with everything, but never as far as I wanted to get results. So I never got to the holy grail. Yeah. So let me explain to you a little bit initially for the people, for those of you who are not very familiar with training protocols. Yeah. So first of all, let's understand that training's got three variables. Yeah. You got volume, intensity, and frequency. Volume is how many reps, how many repetitions, and how many sets you do, you know, for a workout. Yeah, a total workout. Frequency is how often you go to the gym. So it could be once a week, twice a week, every single day. Yeah. Intensity is how intense that workout is. So you are looking at, for example, you go very, very heavy. Yeah, on a particular workout. Next time you go lighter weights. Yeah, or it could be intensity could be made by cardio. Yeah, so you do interval training, you know, as opposed to just doing steady state. You know, so its intensity is a figure that is made up of many things: the loads that you're lifting, how often, how much volume you're doing on the particular session, and also on your state on the particular day, your readiness to train on the day as well. And I will explain in a second what that means. Yeah, so those are three things that you can vary. Now, intensity, one way to measure intensity, I tend to use my heart rate monitor. Yeah, which has got a chest strap, and it tells me how high my heart rate is going, and that gives me a very good idea of my intensity. If you haven't got that, a very easy way to work out your intensity is think of it on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being this is very easy, and 10 being I'm about to collapse. Yeah, so you want to be about 7. This is hard. That's what you should feel. This is hard. Yeah, that's your intensity. So that's from intensity side. So and you vary those three, and by varying either the volume, either the frequency or the intensity, you get different results. That's how you experiment with things, what works better for you. Some people work better with lots of repetitions and lighter weight. Yeah, some people work better with very heavy weights and little repetitions, and you won't know that until you try. And it's a try and error all the time. Yeah. But there is a way of getting an idea of what will work better for you, and that is DNA testing. Now, DNA testing, by the way, is still in its infancy, is quite new, something quite new. Yes, there's a lot of company out there doing DNA testing now. It's becoming more popular, but what we know about genes is still really in infancy. It's something that is quite new. There's more things being found all the time, both from the diet side and from exercise side. So it's all very new, and it will get more and more. We'll find out more and more as the years go on, and who knows, maybe one day we'll be able to have something that tells us, okay, this is how you adjust your diet and your exercise based on how you feel today, based on how much you sleep. That's not available yet, and I think we are still quite a long way for that to be accurate, an accurate one over that. Yeah. So, but in the meantime, you got to use your brain, you know, how you feel, you know, and be honest with yourself. So, but DNA testing, I've done by DNA tests. I've done 3 different DNA tests, and I've learned a little bit from each one. You know, the basic genes that they test are all the same. So that's what you've got. But some of them test different extra little genes that gives you a little gem of information there that you didn't have from previous ones. So that's the interesting thing about that. But what does the test tell you in respect of exercise? Well, first of all, we'll tell you whether you're more power-based or endurance-based. So power-based, things about when you got explosive stuff, yeah? Powerlifting, sprinting, lifting heavier weights, yeah, with power. So that's kind of thing, thinking like powerlifting, yeah, with power. So it'll be like your Usain Bolt, yeah, if you're talking about sprinting terms. Endurance is more when you can maintain a certain intensity, but for longer period of time. So you're not going, you know, power, and then down, power and down. There's no intervals, is maintained for longer time. Think about marathon running versus sprinting, yeah? So more thorough, that's an idea. And you can do that with weights as well, by the way, and then you will do that when endurance, when you do lighter weights, maybe instead of doing, 8 to 12 repetition, you do 20 to 30 repetition, 50 repetition. That's endurance, muscle endurance, yeah? So the DNA test will tell you whether you're more power-based or whether more endurance-based. And let's, for example, mine told me, all of the three told me I'm 60% power-based. What it means is that my body has got a predominance of fast twitch muscle, which are the power muscle, yeah, and less slow twitch muscle, which are endurance muscle. So what does it mean in terms of applying that to a training protocol? Well, it means that for me to maximize my results, I need to include lots of power work, yeah, in my training. So it will be interval training, sprinting, you know, power movements, ball slams, power lifting, that kind of stuff, and less of endurance stuff. Yeah, you know, like long-term running, it's like marathon running, or, you know, long runs at the same pace, you know, or the longer repetitions, yeah, in training. Now, that's all well and good, yeah, because what you can remember is a DNA test will tell you what your genetic predisposition is. It does not know whether you develop any conditions. Yeah, for example, let's say I've got osteoarthritis on one side. It doesn't know if I develop an autoimmune disorder that will affect me, like, for example, fibromyalgia or lupus or anything like that, that affects, you know, the way I'm, or even worse, rheumatoid arthritis. That means some joints is so painful you can't even move them. Doesn't know whether I've got plantar fasciitis, you know, through overtraining. Does not know any of that. So it gives you an idea of your predominance of muscle, so that you know how to adjust your training. Also gives you an idea of your recovery state, so how long it takes for you to recover based on your genes. Yeah, so in my case, it was telling me that it's recovery is about 48 to 72 hours for the same muscle group. So if I do legs on a Monday, I can't do legs on a Tuesday, yeah, because I'm not recovered. Probably not even on Wednesday. Thursday would be the ideal time to hit legs again, so I need to give at least a couple of days break in between. Yeah. So, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing, and that means that then I can get at it hard enough again to make a change. Yeah, because if you overtrain, what's happening is you will get no progression in how much you lift, and no progression in how your body looks. Yeah, so because you're overtraining, so it's getting the right balance. However, as I say, it does not know what the changes have happened to you. So I'll give you an example. When I first got my very first DNA test, and I went all at it. It was years and years and years ago, the first one I did, and I thought, oh, brilliant. And I already worked out that was a case, because realistically speaking, when you do exercise, and this is even more relevant, more obvious when you do cardio exercise, if you're the kind of person who likes to go for long jogs, then you're more likely to be endurance based. Yeah, if you're the kind of person who likes to it gets bored in long jogs, or you cannot sustain it, you find it really hard, but you like to do sprints, yeah, go fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, then you're more power based. Yeah, so you can gauge it a little bit that way. You won't know what your recovery rate is, but you can kind of see how you feel. Yeah, be more self-aware. So I already gauged the fact I hate marathon running. I train people for on the marathon, and it broke me. Yeah, so I knew that is not what my body's built for. But I used to love power training, sled pushing, you know, the prowler. I used to do even the ring, athletic rings, the gymnastic rings, powerlifting, that kind of. Oh, I used to love it. Unfortunately, as you get older, your body starts giving you signs. Your body changes, yeah. So as you get older, you start having more complaints. So you can get injured more easily, even when you allow the extra time that you know you're supposed to allow. You still get injured. And your energy level might be different. You know, for example, give an indication, I've got 2 autoimmune disorders. One of them is Hashimoto, which is underactive thyroid, which makes you feel exhausted when you're not under control. When you haven't managed the disorder, you are exhausted. So the last thing you want to do is go to the gym and lift, you know, a 60-kilo barbell over your head. You think you're going to drop you on your head, you're going to kill yourself. Yeah. So that could be, you know, if you develop something like that and you're exhausted, it could be you've had a bad sleep. Yeah, you've had a crap sleep at night, you wake up in the morning, you're exhausted. That is not the time to go and try to do your personal best in the gym. because you will get injured. Yeah, but you still go to the gym or at home if you're at home, and you still exercise. You just adjust the exercise to, you know, to the way you feel. Yeah, so being obviously truthful, you say, not the wake up and, oh, I can't really be bothered today, let's do something easy, because then that's a different mindset. Yeah, so so as you get older, your joints change. You know, there's things, even like things, hormonal changes with women, the menopause. You know, your estrogen goes sky high during the perimenopause, or the period before menopause, and then drops down. And either ways, you feel exhausted. In my case, I also had the huge drop in testosterone that went to 0.02, which is barely non-existent, and my muscles were killing me. I mean, just going up the stairs were burning. And I said, but this is not right. They were feeling fatigued all the time. I couldn't lift the weights I used to lift in the gym. You know, I had to drop weights considerably, and I still was struggling. I still was super sore the following day, and I couldn't work out what it was. And that because my testosterone dropped down to ridiculously low levels. So did my estrogen because of the menopause. So there's a lot of things that change as you get older, and the important thing is, while the DNA test will tell you this is how you're built, so X amount more power or more endurance based, and this recovery timing and so forth, you need to adjust your training based on your goals and based on your specific conditions, whether it's a medical condition, whether it's an injury, whether you got like osteoarthritis. I got like osteoarthritis on the left shoulder. It's been perfect for 4 years. I had the cortisone injection 4 years ago. It's been perfect, but I can tell when I do rotation work with my shoulders, I feel a pinching. It's not very, very painful, but I feel the pinching, and I know my shoulder is not happy. So I have to adjust the exercise based on that. So it's all about not going and pick a workout from the internet and try to do it, and then you wreck yourself because it's not the right workout for you. Yeah. So your goal is very important. What you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to tone up? So get body, you already lost the weight and you just want to, you want to look more dense rather than all floppy muscle. Yeah. Are you training for an event, triathlon or, marathon, whatever may be the case. Yeah. Or are you just totally unconditioned? So you haven't trained for a long time, or you never ever trained for the matter. And then you need to start getting the health thing, the movement, initial movement. So whichever your goal is will change your workout. Yeah. So that's the most important thing. The next thing is about adjusting your workout. So not only, as I say, you adjust it to your any health condition you might have, you need to adjust to how you feel on the day, how rested you are. You need to adjust it to your diet. Now, this is something that I've learned, which blew me completely. As I did in my previous live, I said I've gone from vegetarian diet, for 20 plus years, to vegan, and then I went to keto, and then I went to carnivore. Now, and I've noticed the change as my body's changing, entering the menopause. I've also noticed a change with the diet. When I was eating lots of carbohydrates, when I was vegetarian, it was really high carb diet, and vegan even more so. But vegan, I was exhausted. I was having that diet really did not work for me, and I had to drop the weight considerably because I had no energy. But vegetarian, my energy was normally okay, apart from the thyroid, I wasn't happy. So when I was training as a vegetarian, I could do anything. So it could be cardio and weights on the same session. It wasn't a big deal. But again, it's the result in my body composition. So what my body looked like, it looked very floppy. So I went to the gym and I felt I was training really hard, but I wasn't getting the result, the look that I wanted. My strength was fine, but my look was not what I wanted. Yeah. And then I learned later on that is obviously with carbohydrate, my body does not work well with carbohydrate, and as a result of that, if I have carbohydrates, especially above a certain amount, my body just doesn't process them well and stores them as fat very quickly. So I put on weight very quickly. So the muscle was under there, but there was too much fat on top to be able to see, although I was not overweight. Yeah. So that didn't work for me. And when I switched over to ketogenic first, so very low carb, higher fat, after initial adaptation period that, you got to go through, and your body's got to switch from burning glucose to burning fat, then I started to notice difference in strength. My strength went up. But I also noticed difference. I can do longer weight sessions I was struggling more with the cardio session. Now, why is that? Because when you do high, especially high intensity cardio, your body needs glucose for that. Yeah, it's a glycolytic type of exercise. And if you go very little glucose from carbohydrate, when you ketogenic, you only typically have 25 grams carbohydrate a day. So you go very little glucose, you go through that very, very quickly. You do have, of course, store glycogen in your liver and in your muscle, and that gets depleted very quickly, especially if you're doing weights as well as cardio. I noticed that my stamina went down. Yeah, so that was the body trying to, okay, now you've done too much, because I will do the weights first. I want to be fresh for the weights, so I will do the weights, and then I will leave a little bit of cardio at the end, 20 minutes high intensity interval training, because that will work better for my kind of muscle mass, yeah, being power based. And I found that I couldn't push myself quite so hard being ketogenic, because of course I had less carbohydrate. Now, was that a problem? No, it wasn't, because actually my body composition changed dramatically. Yeah, so while I noticed a less performance, cardiovascular performance in my cardio, my weights went up, so how much I could lift, my strength went up, and at the same time my fat loss increased and my muscle mass increased. So I lost more fat, I put more muscle, and all of a sudden I started getting the definition that I wanted. Yeah, so was it bothered that I couldn't maybe do the cardio as intense I used to do before? No, because that was not my goal. I wasn't training to be the fastest person on earth. I wasn't training to be like Usain Bolt. So that performance was not an issue for me. For me, was what I wanted to achieve was body composition. Yeah, so that was an issue. And then of course when I went carnivore, which is remove every single bit of plant-based thing, which means you'd be pretty much very close to zero carbs completely, then again I noticed again in the performance went down a little bit. So while I'm now much better doing fat burning zones, kind of a cardio, so I sustain the same amount of effort if I do, for example, Stairmaster, or if I go on the treadmill, uphill treadmill walk, I'm fine. I can do that for 30 minutes, no problem. And I can do that alongside weights as well, doing the full weight section, no problem. Yeah. But if I try to do running, or if I try to do sprints, or if I try to do fast intervals, I noticed that it's a two major effect. Number one, it makes me absolutely ravenous that day and the following day. So it actually ends up undoing all the good work I've done. Hi, Shy, with the diet. And number two, my joints are not enjoying that anymore. So I'll give an example. I had I was doing a lot of uphill walking, power walking, and Stairmaster, yeah, with interval training on the Stairmaster, and I started developing pain on the ball of my foot. Yeah, I looked it up, and that is inflammation, tendonitis. And I said, okay, I've had plantar fasciitis in the past, training somebody for along the marathon. I said, I'm not going to go down that road. So that is a combination of the fact I'm getting older, my joints are not as enjoying, things I used to do. But then you got to think, do I need to do interval training, cardio interval training? No, because I'm lifting, yeah, keeping the muscle on tension for 1.5 minutes plus. Constant tension, lifting again about 80% of my maximum weight, and then still doing cardio at fat burning zone. So I'm 75 to 80% of my maximum heart rate, for 30-40 minutes. Then that is doing what I want to achieve. So I don't need to sprint. Yeah. So this is what I'm trying to say. Is while there are certain things DNA test will tell you this is what works for you, as you get older, as your hormones change, as your joints age a little bit, because osteoarthritis is nothing but wear and tear of joints, so which happens regardless. Yeah, so you need to adjust your training based on your goals, but also based on how your body is adjusting to that. And it might mean that you need to give yourself a little bit more recovery in between. Yeah, because if you overtrain, then you make it 10 times worse, because not only you're not going to achieve your goal, whatever your goal may be, weight loss, or whether it's athletic goal, in addition that you're going to get injured, and then you're out of commission for a long time, so. But in my case, I noticed when I was trying to push myself too much, is that my hunger went way high, for a couple of days, but ridiculously high, and also my joints started complaining. Yeah, so I to adjust that so I still get the training benefit that I need, and without compromising my hunger and compromising my joint at the same time. How intense do you have to train? Right. First of all, you need to understand that whether you're doing 6 reps or whether you're doing 12 reps or whether you're doing 50 reps, the basic principle is this. If your aim is to achieve 12 reps, 12 repetitions of an exercise, you need to have a weight that's heavy enough that by the time you get to rep number 10, you are struggling to lift that weight. Yeah, so rep number 10, you're struggling. 11 is really hard. 12, that's it. You could not possibly do number 13. Yeah, if you can do number 13, 14 and 15, then the weight is not heavy enough for you. It's that simple. That's how you determine whether you're lifting heavy enough for what you want to achieve. And how you determine how many reps you should be doing? Well, it's very simple. First of all, let's look at compound exercises. So your compound exercises are your squats, your deadlift, your lunges, your bench press or chest press if you don't use a bench, your back row, your lats pull down, where you got multiple joints and multiple muscles working together, yeah, to achieve a movement. Now, those ones, research shows that in order for them to be more effective, you need to aim for less repetitions and higher weights. Now, again, that has to be adjusted. You know, if you're a beginner, you can't just go there and load the barbell with 70 kilo and squat. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So you gotta start from where you are. So if you're a beginner, you're going to use an empty barbell. Empty barbell is really 20 kilos, by the way, in the gym. And then, you know, you start learning how to do movement. Yeah, with a squat. You can do it without barbell, just squat, body weight squat. You know, just make sure you're doing it correctly, get the technique right first, and then slowly you load it up until you get to the point you want to get. If you're intermediate and advanced, then you know already, hopefully, what the technique is and how correct technique is, and then you can load up, you know, increase the load. Now, for as I say, for compound exercises, the best way to go is heavier and less repetitions. Yeah. So you want to aim maybe at anything between 6 to 10 repetition tops. Yeah. So load it up and aim at that one, but good repetitions. Yeah. So if you squat and you can achieve 3 good squats all the way down, all the way up, and then number 4 is a half a squat, then you stop. That doesn't count. Yeah, it has to be the full range of movement. So be honest with yourself. Now, for smaller muscle, what we call you know, isolation supporting muscle. So you got your biceps, your triceps, and then your isolating muscle, your quads, your hamstrings, the quads at the front of the leg, hamstring the back of the leg, your calves, your core. Those ones, the smaller muscle, they fatigue quicker. Yeah, so in order to give it a nice good tone and to train them nicely in strength and tone, you want to do higher repetitions but less weight. Yeah, you couldn't possibly get you know, 50 kilo dumbbell and try to do overhead, you know, tricep extension. Trust me, you're going to drop that dumbbell on your head. Yeah, and you're probably going to tear the muscle in the process. So no, so lighter loads, yeah, lighter weights and more repetitions. So again, you want to go in the region of anything between 15, 20, 30, depends on what you want to achieve. Yeah, so but again, same principle. The load number 18, you are then struggling to move that weight. If you're not struggling at repetition number 18, the weight is not heavy enough. The last 2 should be, you know, really difficult, and the last one in particular should be, that's it, you're finished. Yeah, so you couldn't possibly do a next one, another repetition. So that's how you determine. I mean, very often I see people in the gym, women especially, because as women we're not very clued up on weights, unfortunately, where you go, they're doing bicep curls like that, yeah, very fast, and you know, they're there 10 minutes later, they're still doing them. I mean, how many repetitions is there? 200 repetitions, and they're talking to the friend next to them. That is not training. That is wasting your time. Yeah, so you want to go in there, get it done, out. You don't want to be chatting away. And by the way, with the muscle, the way it works is the slower the better. Yeah, unless you're doing power training, but that's not what we're talking about today. So the slower the better. So you want to count, so at least you want to count down 2, up 2. And if you can do down 4, up 4 is even better. You know, the longer the muscle is under tension, the harder it's working. If you go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, is doing nothing. It's only working for a few seconds. And then if you spend another 5 minutes looking at your Facebook account in between sets, you're just really wasting your time. Yeah, you need to optimize the time that you do exercise. So compound exercises, heavier weight, less reps. Isolation exercises, your quads. Hi Elizabeth. Your quads, your hamstring, your bicep, your tricep. More repetitions, less weight. And then what you determine as well how many repetitions you should be doing is by your goal. Now, is your goal is to increase, and heavy weight. If you want to increase hypertrophy, so the size of a muscle, the bulking of a muscle a little bit, you go ideally, let's say between 8 and 12. It can go even more. If you want to do endurance, so the how long the muscle can stay under load, then you're going to be 20 plus repetitions. In ideal scenario, you should have a combination of all of them. All of these different range, they should be part of your training regularly, because the muscle needs to be exercised in different ways, using different techniques, so it stays healthy and you achieve the optimal results. But yet again, it depends on your goal. So the majority of a rep range will be based on your goal and your ability. Are you beginner, intermediate, or advanced? Have you got any injuries? Again, adjust it to that. Have you slept well or not? As I said, it's very, very important. I see people going in the gym and doing ridiculous amount of cardio in the gym and then going stretch. No weightlifting at all. Listen, it's not about burning calories. This is what you got to understand. It's not about how many calories you burn. It's about the effect of the exercise, of that workout on your body. Are you more interested in burning 500 calories in a training session and then seeing no results in your body composition? Your body does not change. Or would you rather burn 200 calories in a session and actually see, oh my God, I got some shape coming out? So that's what you got. Forget calories expenditure. I use a heart rate monitor not to work out the calories, but to work out which heart rate zone I'm working in. Am I working in the fat loss zone? Am I working in my higher zone, maximum training zone? That's how I determine, that's why I wear chest drum, not to say, oh, I burn 700 calories today. It means nothing. Because again, it's based on heart rate. It's not 100% accurate. And then even if it was 100% accurate, it's very difficult to work out how much you're burning throughout the whole day and how much you're eating throughout the whole day, because while you can use food applications that help you, like MyFitnessPal, chronometer, give an indication how much intake of calories you're having, the reality is it's the way your body, if it's a particularly cold day, you're going to be burning more. So your body needs more calories. If you have slept badly, then your body's more under stress, so it's going to be burning more. So the calories in, calories out is just an indication. It can give an indication if your goal is to lose weight, but it's not 100% accurate. So yes, you have to moderate your food. Yes, you have to make sure you don't gorge on foods, but it's more important to eat the right foods rather than counting calories. And it's also more important to make sure what you're doing in the gym or at home, if you train at home, is as the results you want rather than is what feels nice or comfortable. So that's the whole idea of training. And the one thing I wanted to cover is this. It doesn't matter. Once you find the ideal exercise program for you, that's not the end of it, because I say your body changes all the time. As we get older, our hormones drop down. Women with estrogen, testosterone as well, men testosterone. If you got a problem like me, like thyroid, that's down. All that affects how much fat you store. Affects your energy levels. Your joints get weaker. Can support less bouncing action. Your muscle to some extent get weaker, because we know you lose 4% muscle mass after a year after the age of 40. So you do some exercise, you maintain. If you want to put on muscle mass, it's trickier. We also know that if you're a beginner, you can put muscle mass very quickly. But if you're somebody like me who's been training for over 20 years, you know, putting a kilo muscle mass is just like, is really hard work for months and months, you know. So it's not as simple as that, you know. The body adapts to everything. So the bottom line is you need to experiment all the time, you know. As I said, I love power training, I love interval training. Is it working for me now? No, it's not. Is achieving the result of giving me injuries and achieving the result of making me absolutely ravenous. Yeah, so it's not getting me the result I want, despite the fact that I'm power based genetically. That's what I'm saying. You know, the genetic test gives you an indication. It's not, doesn't tell you how your body responds now based on what you are now, what you've done now, how the total life is taken on you, yeah, so to speak. So the only way to know you're in the right track is to try things, test them, you know. So when you test something, you want to test, make sure you test things for a certain period of time. I would say test things for at least a month, yeah. So let's say you decide your goal is metabolic recomposition, yeah. So change your body, so increase your muscle mass, reduce your body fat to achieve the right figure. Now let's just say for the last month you've done the, you know, you've been training 4 days a week, doing splits, you know, chest and tricep, back and bicep, legs and calves and core and stuff like that, yeah. Now you've done that for a month, and by the way, there's one thing you need to be aware of. You must increase the effort all the time. You cannot be lifting the same weights for every exercise for a month. Every time you need to try to do more. So whether it's more reps or more weight, yeah, so it's progressive, principle progressive overload. The body adapts. So every time you have to try and improve what you did the previous time. So the previous time you lifted, let's say you squatted 60 kilos and you did 20 squats or 60 kilos. Next time, you're either going to increase that load and maybe put 62 kilos, 65 kilos, or you want to try to squat more. You know, try to throw in another 2 or 3, 5 squats. Yeah, that's how you increase. Yeah, so, and some muscles will be easier to progress via increasing the repetition, especially small muscles like bicep and tricep and shoulders. Other muscles like bigger muscles like the quads, the hamstrings, they respond quite well by increasing the weights marginally, yeah, not go up by 10 kilos at a time. So go up in the smallest plate in the gym is 1.25 kilos. You know, put one on each side, and then you got 2.5 kilos increase, and then, you know, do the same amount of squat but with a heavier weight. So you have to progress all the time. That's the first principle. And then you have to experiment, yeah. So let's just say, as I say, first month you done the training splits, you know, 3-4 days a week training splits. You have progressed your weight or your repetitions, so you reach a certain point. Next time, try something different. How about trying something like high frequency training, where you do, you work the body, the whole body, every day, yeah, but you only do one exercise per muscle, yeah. So very quick, you know, you do that one exercise, 2 or 3 sets, you know, depending what you want to do. And then, so if you do this, for example, if one day you do the bench press, the next day, if you're doing chest, you might want to do dumbbell press, you know, or you want to do the chest flies with the cable. So use all different exercises. Don't use the same one all the time, every single day. And then see how that goes, yeah, for a month. See, does it give you results? How well you're progressing, you know. Another month you may decide to do what I'm doing, so which is it's called high intensity strength training, which is super slow training. So in theory, you pick 5 exercises, 5 compound exercises. You got leg press, you got chest press, you got back row, lats pull down, or pull-ups if you prefer, and you got what's the other one we got? So there's 5 exercise, and shoulder press, yeah, the 5 major movements. So push horizontally, pull horizontally, push vertically, pull vertically, and then legs, yeah. And you do 1.5 minutes at the equivalent of 80% of your maximum weight, yeah, that you can normally lift. But you're not allowed to stop for that 1.5 minutes. You do super slow, like what you normally would do. You know, you press, for example, leg press. You might do 1, 2, 1, 2 with your legs. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. You know, count to 10, 8 to 10, and super slow back down. And you never ever straighten your legs all the way, so you never relax the muscle. The muscle remains at the tension all the time, and you never relax all the way at the bottom either. You just keep going for a minute and a half. It burns like hell, but it means the muscle is under tension for a lot longer, so it works harder. And you just do one set, and you're finished with the exercise, and you move on to the next one. So 15 minutes, you finish your workout. Yeah. Now, you do that for a month, then that become easy. Yes, of course, in the progression of that, you increase the weights all the time. Once you're able to do a minute and a half, you increase the weight. Yeah, so next time you might only be able to do 1 minute, 10 seconds. So then build it up until you're back to a minute and a half, then you increase the weight again. Yeah, that's how you progress it. I've now got to the point, now I've been doing it for a few months now, I've actually added some extra work. So I don't just do the 5 compounds exercises, I do bicep, triceps, I do isolations, yeah. I did those ones, so instead of just doing 5 exercises, like 12 exercises, so it's quite a long workout, doing the same principle. Then that became easy, then I added the second set, yeah, and now the final adaptation I've done to make it harder for me is on all the isolation exercises, bicep, triceps, chest and shoulders. I've actually added myo reps, so doing little tiny period like 30 seconds, try to keep it going for after 30 seconds, see how many I can do that last 30 seconds, and basically exhausting in that way. So that's what I'm saying. So that one is working perfectly for me. Yeah, but it may come to a point where that doesn't work for me, and if that's the case, then I'll try something different. You know, the idea is that you try to vary things every so often, and when something stops working, then you try something different. You shock your body by doing something completely different for a period of time, and then you might go back to that, because the reality is when you're going super slow, you're keeping the muscle under tension for a minute and a half. It's going to get to a point when you reach a ceiling weight-wise, where you can do it without compromising the form, you know, the full range of motion, yeah? And when you get to that point and you're stuck there, then it's time to switch. Try something else, and then maybe in 2 months' time, come back to that, and you'll say, oh, you know, all of a sudden that feels totally different, yeah? So that's the thing. You have to do what I call N equals yourself, not necessarily work for your best friends, for your neighbor, for your family member, works for you. Yeah. Another thing I want to touch very, very quickly is nutrition. Now, what you eat will give you the energy. You eat crap, you get crap out. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Now, if you're planning to do a high cardio session, lots of you know, high intensity cardio, so it could be like a class like, for example, body combat. Yeah. Those kind of classes, high intensity or HIIT training, yeah, then you need to, generally speaking, to give you the energy to do that at maximum level, perform it properly, then you need to have some carbohydrates. Yeah, so healthy carbohydrates. I'm not talking about going and getting a donut. Yeah, I'm talking about having some porridge, yeah, gluten-free ideally if you can, low glycemic carbohydrates before the training session. Some people tend to have it after training session. I think, you know, you want the energy before you need to use it, right? Afterwards, yes, you have to replenish your glycogen afterwards, but really for cardio it's not really that big deal. Yeah. If you do weightlifting, it's the same. So weightlifting, you need to make a carb load, unless you're trying to power lift, and then you go into competition powerlifting, then you need to have enough carbohydrate in your diet to give you the energy. I do weightlifting, you know, heavy weightlifting, and I got no carbohydrate in my diet at all. Yeah, so when it comes to weightlifting, you can tone down your carbohydrates. Yeah, don't go mad on that, and concentrate on the healthier carbohydrates, rather like good vegetable. Concentrate on low glycemic fruits. Yeah, like avocados, like to eat for any reason before workout and you're feeling a bit sluggish, you can try something a bit more high glycemic, like a banana. Just be careful with that, because if you have a banana that is yellow to brown, is really high in sugar, it will give you massive boost, and halfway through your workout you're gonna have a massive slump and you're gonna fail. Yeah, so maybe have bananas that's more green to yellow, so it's not quite as mature, so there's a bit less contents of sugar, so it gives you sustained help, but not, you know, blowing you out, you know, and then you're having a massive collapse afterwards. Yeah. So if you are training for fat loss, or weight loss, then my advice to you is still go low carb. If your performance is not an issue, you're not training for competitions, powerlifting competitions or CrossFit competitions or anything like that, there is no reason for you to carb load and eat lots of porridge, lots of rice. There is no need for that at all. If anything, by going low carb and concentrate your carbohydrates on lots and lots of healthy vegetables, and a bit of low glycemic fruit, like I say, like berries, then that would be more than sufficient. You get more fat loss and you get enough energy to complete your workout so they're effective. So diet and exercise is very important. They have to go hand in hand. The other thing that's very important, as I said, is your stress levels and your sleep. So if you're run down for any reason, whether you haven't slept very well, it's been a very stressful week at work, anything like that, then you have to go just by how you feel. If you haven't slept very well and you're tired, you do not want to go in the gym and lift heavy weights, because chances are you're either going to drop them, potentially on yourself, make yourself injure yourself, or you're going to, because your brain is tired, you're not concentrating on the movement, and you can do the movement wrongly and then pull a muscle or worse, tear something. So I would just say, if it's one of those very bad days, you slept very poorly, still go and do some exercise. Maybe go for a power walk, 40 minutes, an hour power walk. Or even if you want to go to the gym, go treadmill, uphill walking, not running, not exhausting yourself. Go on the Stairmaster, good sweat session on that one without going full intensity. So that's what I will advise to do, but still stay active, but adjust it accordingly. Sometimes the clients ask me what happens, if you're not feeling well. Okay, you gotta be honest. First of all, what do you mean you're not feeling well? I mean, if you got a cold or a cough, I say, why wouldn't you train? That's not good enough reason to stop. You tone it down, so you adjust it. So let's say you normally lift 70 kilos on a squat, and you're not 100%, you got a bad cold, you feel a bit, blocked or whatever, a bad cough. Okay, maybe bring the weight down and do more repetitions. So bring the intensity down, but still do something. Now, of course, if you got something like a stomach bug or flu or fever, generally speaking, if you got fever, that's a sign your body's fighting infection. You do not want to give your body more stress, something else to worry about by exercising. That's fine. Take time out, don't exercise, but stay active. Maybe go for a nice walk with your dog. Provided you're not got a very high fever, then you stay in bed. Of course, if you got a stomach bug, perhaps you women don't want to go walking with the dog because you need to have a toilet nearby, but stay active. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't go and overexert yourself doing exercise if your body is already fighting infection. So it's about common sense. It's about truly listening to how your body is responding to exercise, and how your body is responding to your lifestyle challenges. And if you're run down, adjust exercise down or take a break that day. Just stay active. And if it's a day, likewise, if it's a day when you feel, I feel good today, I feel very energetic, that's the day when you want to try your personal best. Whether it's on running, sprinting, or whether it's on the weights. That's the day when you want to go, today I'm going to go full out. I'm going to push it past what I pushed before. I want to see how far I can go. Safely, obviously. Make sure you always warm up before you start doing heavy stuff in the gym. So that's how you need to regulate. And that's in line with what they call heart rate variability. There are certain gadget you can use to measure your heart rate variability, and it's basically the more variable your heartbeat is, the times, the gaps between the heartbeats, the more rested and recovered you are, the better you can perform. The more stable those gaps are, the more in sympathetic mode you are, which means the more in stress mode you are, fight or flight mode, and the less you should be pushing because you stress yourself out more. So be honest with yourself. Everything you try in the gym has to be based. Think, what's my goal? Tone up. I've lost the weight, but I'm all floppy. I need to tone up. So goal is number one. What's my ability? Be honest with yourself, you know, push yourself hard, but at the same time recognize your limit because you don't want to get injured. Yeah. How am I feeling today? Did I wake up exhausted because I didn't sleep well last night, or am I feeling good? Then push hard if you feel good, tone it down a little bit if you're feeling exhausted. Yeah. Have I eaten correctly for the exercise I'm going to be doing? Yeah. And by the way, by the same token, it's not good you spend an hour in the gym training, then go to the coffee shop in the gym and order all this mega frappuccino stuff, and you've just, it's pointless. Yeah. You don't drink your calories. You do the exercise after training, you have a good, wholesome meal. Whole food, don't eat crap, don't drink sugary stuff, don't, because I'm doing it with the diet. As I say in our industry, you cannot out-train, what is it? I lost that, right? You cannot out-train, no, okay. Basically what it is, you cannot train your diet, bad diet. You cannot train a bad diet. Basically what it means is that if you eat crap, you can train us until the cows come home in the gym 10, 15, it will not make a difference. Diet, realistically speaking, is 70 to 80% of the equation. Yeah, when you want to achieve your goals. So you have to get that, you know, dial it in correctly based on your specific circumstances, and then you got to dial in your exercise. Change it, vary it, test it, write it down, see how you feel, control your hunger level. Because as I told you, with me, while I love to do power training, I love to do interval training, all the kind of power based workouts, as I got older, my joints are telling me we don't like this, but most importantly, my hunger levels skyrocket. And that is very easy when your hunger levels skyrocket and you're so ravenous after training. And with me, it's the day of training and the day after. The day after is even worse. It's like I can eat twice the amount of calories. You know, I eat and I'm still hungry. If you give it good wholesome food and a balanced diet, then that amount should be fine. Yeah, it's not an excuse for you to double your calories. Even if it's healthy food, you're doubling your calories because then you just undone everything you've done in the gym. So you have to stay consistent with your diet, even if you're ravenous. Now, if you become ravenous, maybe that's not working well for you. And if that's not working well for you, then switch it. Get something else that works better for you. Yeah. Good. I hope you found this useful, guys. It's a little bit about training, give you some ideas, some tips on what you do in the gym. Keep it varied, keep it challenging, and most importantly, keep it fun. If you don't enjoy the workouts you do, you will not keep doing them. Yeah, so you need to be something that you enjoy enough, but it's still challenging enough, and most importantly, gets the result. If you go to the gym, you've been going to the gym for a while, and you're getting a result, that workout is not working for you. Chances are, your food is not working for you either, so you need to fix both of them. And if you need help fixing them, you know, reach out to me or reach out to a personal trainer if you go to the gym, or, you know, reach out to a friend, whatever you want. Yeah, there is good information out there. Don't just pick up a workout on the internet. Don't just pick up a meal plan on the internet and do it and expect it to work for you, because it's not tailored to you. It has to be tailored to you. Okay, guys, have a great day. It's a bit miserable today. Here is raining, steaming up the car now. Probably somebody's going to wonder what's going on here all of a sudden. And have a great rest of the week. And as I say, please comment. If you find this useful, please comment, share it. And I hope you did get some valuable information from this to help you with your own training and to adjust things as you go along. Okay, have a great day and have a good weekend. Bye.